on 2019 Masters. I just got like 20 minutes into recording and thought I had recent form wrong because I saw that DJ and Ricky both had wins in the same week, and I was like, how the hell could that be possible? Then I realized that DJ was not playing the Waste Management that week. He was playing overseas. So yeah, that was a blunder. But I will shorten up the intro a little bit. Got my limited edition, tailor-made Masters. What year is this? 2007 hat on. Yeah, it's a good logo there. Big fan of the limited edition tailor-made hats. Um, got some kombucha with me, and we're gonna get right back into it. So, as I was explaining before, I had to cut off because I'm an idiot. Rory at the top in the odds, not in all the sites pricing somehow, but love the play. I'm getting right into it. Literally no course preview action. Just went through it. Not doing it again. But yeah, Rory at the top. Love Rory. I may go into stats with some of these guys. By the way, that's going to be over here. The media guide. Back to the spreadsheet. So you got recent form here, course history here, pricing here, odds, and kind of a ledger of what I want to do with these guys. So when I'm looking at my spreadsheet, I already know where I stand on them. Back into it. Rory, as I said before I cut off, when you see top tens in the last 5 times at a tournament and basically no worse than top 10, top 6 in the last 5 tournaments he's played, I will kind of give him a pass match play because he ran into Tiger, who was just red hot. Yeah, like the thing with Rory is he's going to be really popular. He's at the top of the board. People want to play the top of the board, and he makes perfect sense. It's not like a week where, Finau's the top of the board, and you're like, okay, don't love it. But yeah, so you got Rory at the top here. Love the play, but worry he may be really popular. You could easily just play DJ instead and try to get some leverage. The problem is you would need to be pretty much like heavier on DJ than Rory, and you would need to be heavier than the field is on DJ because I don't think starting every one of your lineups with Rory or DJ is necessarily the best this week. Like if you look at last year here, like Rahm and Ricky were probably priced around the same as they were this year. Maybe Rahm was less, like 9K, but I mean Spieth was definitely more than that. But like you kind of had to like pick and choose up here. If you had JT, you probably weren't necessarily nailing it. Rose was popular, but he was way cheaper. But yeah, so you want some. I would not recommend taking neither of Rory or DJ at all. I think you either take both and kind of differentiate elsewhere, or just play the guys you like best, regardless of ownership. You can do that. You're going to split money with people, and that's the way it goes. But that's a strategy you can take if you're cool with that result. But yeah, so DJ, Rory, it's almost a toss-up for me. I consider Rory to be in better form. I like that he's just been a little more consistent here, marginally so, and he's gunning for that career Grand Slam. Now, some would see that as more pressure, but with the form he's in right now, I don't think anything's really getting to him. DJ, DJ, people forget he only has one major. So, we consider him this great, great player, and he is, but, when it comes to majors, he's just not closing the door on guys. We'll have to watch the weather. Maybe if it gets a little worse, I like DJ more. But then again, if the weather gets worse and people decide to move to DJ more, I might just keep Rory wherever I have him and hope that kind of the thing flip-flops that I was talking about with the ownership. So then I'm the one in a little better position because I didn't react to some sort of weather narrative that may or may not be true or just exists in the mind of some people. I'll get to Rose. Rose is the start of the 10 to 11K guys, I mean, Rose's history here is elite. Rose's form is good. API wasn't ideal. It just seems like he's been like more on off this year than in years past, a few years past at least. Um, I mean, I'll have Rose this week, but I'm gonna try to get more of like Rory, DJ, Rom, Ricky. Rose is just kind of like a guy in the middle that happens to be in some lineups. Like it's easier to put Rom and Ricky together or justify going to Rory or DJ for me than it is to just settle in this like mid pack of Rose. Like I'm not really playing Rose and Rom or Rose and Ricky. And I'm not playing like Rose and DJ or Rose and Rory. So I mean, just having Rose as like an only stud works depending on what you do. I think with the rest of your lineup, like I can fit Rose and like Casey or Hideki or Casey and Bubba or Hideki and Bubba or something like that. But I almost like other builds better. Just like I could just go to Rory and cut down somewhere in the value range to another guy that I think is equally likely to make the cut in top 20 as some other guy that's just priced above him. So that's kind of how I'm looking at that. Tiger's a tough one for me because I think he's just going to be really popular, but his Augusta history is so damn good, and he's like such a great story. Like I just want Tiger to win. I've actually been pretty good this week so far about not just like, oh, I want Tiger to win. He's going in my lineups. Like that's not really how I operate. So when I know I want Tiger to win, I know that that could potentially be bad for the fantasy results, if that makes sense. But I'm comfortable with that. So I think if you're uncomfortable with that, you either need to be playing Tiger or not playing at all if you want Tiger to win. So with that said, I do like Tiger a lot. I will have a bunch of him, but again, it's kind of like Rose. I'm not really forcing Tiger in. It's just like if he wins, I hope I'm on the right combo with him, but he's not like a core play for me. People forget that like back when he was dominating Augusta, he was a little different of a player. People just see Tiger and they think of Tiger of old, but Tiger is now half metal man. So, it's my boy. He's talking about the Avalanche. But yes. So back to the golf. We got JT at 10-2. Somehow highest price golfer on Yahoo along with DJ and Rose. It's not Rory. Play Rory over there, please. Just Avalanche draft tilt. So Ricky, we're on JT. JT, the results here have been getting better, but his game right now is a little questionable to me. Ever since he hit a tree, basically, his wrist has been a little wonky. His approach game hasn't been as good. I'm going to be fading JT this week, to be honest. I have realized this as I've been building lineups that I'm just not landing on him. I like Rom way more, way more. Rom has top 25 in 13 of his last 14 events, ignoring this match play result, which I'm just going to ignore because I don't care about it. His approach numbers the last 2 weeks when he was 6th and 12th were just fine, and contrary to what people may have been reading because of last 24 rounds or whatever, last 50 rounds, he's been great lately. I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to play this, oh, he's going to get mad angle. I don't think Augusta is really the place to piss John Rahm off that much. So I like Rahm quite a lot this week. I will have a lot of John Rahm. Ricky, I will also have a lot of. I don't care if he'll be popular. He's another one. He's a little easier to stomach for me than Tiger, honestly, to get in my lineups. Just because of the savings. Like I think Ricky and Tiger are a very similar range of outcomes this week. But I'm getting a discount on Ricky, and I will just take that. And we know what kind of player Ricky is right now. I think he's a little better suited to Augusta right now than Tiger. Ricky, 2nd, 11th, a miscut, sure, but 12th and 5th before that. I like Ricky and Rom a lot, so those two are going to start a lot of my lineups. They're going to be a combo that I have in a bunch of spots. I'll probably have a little more Ricky and Rom than I will Rory and DJ, just because of the price savings. I like the way I can build lineups more. I think I have more top 10 upside with more guys, if that makes sense, than if I go with Rory or DJ. So you really got to hope that Rory and DJ maybe disappoint a little bit, um, and then you can try to get a little leverage that way. Spieth for me, I can't do it. I've tried, and I can't do it. He's been so bad. The form has been so bad that I just can't endorse it. Like, Spieth at Augusta has been a thing, but also Spieth has never been this particular thing that he is now. So like, it's hard to rationalize it for me. So I think what I'm gonna do is just fade him and hope for the best, because I like Casey, Bubba, and Hideki way more. Bubba's been performing really well at a bunch of different courses that he doesn't really fit this year. The places that Bubba does fit really well: Genesis, 15th. Valspar doesn't really fit his game, 4th. Waste Management fits his game very well, 4th. Ignore the match play for me, not too worried about it. 56th at the Players, again, just not too worried about it. Players is weird, and, people just blow up there for no reason. But I'm personally just kind of going to stay away from Spieth. I just don't like the way his game is right now, and he's been in really good spots this year throughout tournaments, and then just blown up. And if he does a blow up at Augusta, it could be like an 80 plus. Like, it could happen. It's not like he hasn't bottled it here before. So I mean, granted, that year was different, but I mean, he had a big old lead and bottled it there. He was performing really well last week. Again, third round just went to shit in the front nine. I don't know what it is. I mean, he can't drive the ball right now. And here, that might not be as penal as other courses, but, like, I mean, it's still not good. You don't want to be in the trees. You don't want to be hitting off pine straw. You'd rather just be in the freaking fairway. So for me, I'm going to be avoiding Spieth. I don't think he top fives this week. I don't think he top tens this week. He might top 20. Like, that comfortableness could get him to that point, but I don't think it gets him above there. Not with the way everyone else is playing right now. Molinari's, so he's kind of a different player now than he was last year at this time, but I still just worry he doesn't fit this course super well. So for me, I'm going to be off of Molinari for the most part. Another fade that scares me, but I can't, like, I don't want to own all of these guys here. Like, I think if I make lineups, I'll put like Spieth and Molinari in them, because I don't think they're going to be super popular, honestly. Or like I would do like Spieth and Brooks, or Spieth and Bryson, like, or just I don't know what to do with Spieth. I don't know what his ownership will be. Molinari is another one. Like, the history's not good, so people are gonna maybe just look at that and avoid him. But he's been playing really good golf, except for the Players. But I ignore the Players generally. So Molinari is a wild card for me. I don't really know what he's gonna do this week. Probably another like solid performance, but I don't really expect like an upside performance, if that makes sense. Brooks has been steadily improving here too, much like JT, but Brooks has been in pretty rough form recently. Second at the Honda, but then miscut at 56. It's not ideal. Even at the Waste Management course that should fit his game really well, didn't do so hot. I'm just gonna kind of fade Brooks. It is a major. Sure, that does worry me, but I think the game plan here is a little different, and I don't know what it is. his approach game hasn't been as good, so I'm just going to kind of avoid. He's got that weight loss thing. It's weird. I'm avoiding Brooks. Bryson, I'm also avoiding. He just hasn't been the same guy recently. Sure, he could pop here this week, but I want guys that are doing it now, and Bryson's not, so I'm off. Do have that 80-1 ticket, though. That would be nice. Tommy, 17th here last year. Kind of peaking at the moment, ignoring the match play, of course. Peaking, though, third and fifth back-to-back weeks, API, and the players. Do like to see that, but I don't know. I kind of just like Paul Casey better. For cheaper, he's been better at the Masters. He's arguably in better form. So I just like Paul Casey more than Tommy. If Tommy's going to be popular, I love the guy, but I'll just play more Casey personally. Not a sexy play, Paul Casey, but I like where his game is at. I like that he is very strong at Masters. So I like Paul Casey a lot. Jason Day, not going to be popular. People hate Jason Day. I personally would just rather play Paul Casey. He's beaten Jason Day each of the last 4 years at this tournament. Better recent form, not a withdrawal risk as far as I'm concerned. So I will have just more Paul Casey than Day or Tommy. Bubba, I like Bubba a lot here. That miscut in 2017, that was just not Bubba's year. He was pretty terrible that year, actually. But been really good recently, and I like that he's been playing a lot. So I also like that he, bounced back from that miscut with a really strong performance last year after doing well at the so-called Bubba tracks. Bubba doing well again at the Bubba tracks this year, so I like him quite a bit. Another guy, though, if the weather is bad for some reason, Bubba would definitely be a guy I faded if that was the case. Like Bubba would be a guy I faded. I think Bryson would be a guy I would fade. Might like Molinari a little more. Probably would fade Brooks. Maybe I'd play Brooks because it would be more of a grinder tournament. Brooks would embrace that. Might like Tiger a little less, just with the driving. Spieth I would definitely like less. And DJ and Rory, Rose, I would like them still. JT, I'd probably like a little less too. If the approach game was a little off and then the weather got bad, I'd definitely want less JT. Hideki, though, love Hideki. Again, a guy I just like more than Day, better than Day the last 4 years here. Hideki, Casey, Fowler, Rahm. Those are like some of my core plays this week. Casey, Hideki, Bubba, Rahm, Ricky, those guys. Adam Scott I like quite a bit. He's just kind of been a guy that if he's the last spot in my lineup, 8,400, I'll play him. Not really prioritizing Adam Scott so much. He just hasn't been as strong here as of late, but he's got some pretty good results. Over the past 5 tournaments he's played, 3 top 12s, but also 2 missed cuts. Kind of a wild card. Again, not a guy I'm prioritizing, but where he fits, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with some shares. That's what I mean to say. But I'm not prioritizing him. Louis, I like a little bit. I just never know what to do with Louis. He's always prone to just pop and play really well. Really good performances the last 2 times out. Worth some shots. He could be one of those guys that top 5s and you need him in the Millie Maker because he won't be high owned. Xander, Phil, Finau. Xander and Phil I'm fading. I don't want to get into the explanations too much. Got other guys to talk about. Finau, I love the guy. Great player, but the form of late is worrisome to me. No top 15th place, in his last 6 events. And even then, there was a miscut before that. Just hasn't been the strongest player of late. I'm going to kind of avoid. I think people are going to be drawn to him because of last year. The bad ankle. Played really well. And I know he rates out in a lot of models well for here, but I'm going to kind of pass on Finau. He's just in a weird price range. If he was flip-flopped with Kuchar, I think it would be a lot more compelling. But he's not. I just like Sergio Kuchar way more. if I'm being honest. And I have this sorted by odds right now, not by DraftKings price. I'll sort it by DraftKings price just because that's what most people listening to this would care about. Not that anyone does listen to this. But yeah, thanks for entertaining me. Reed, full fade for me. I'm just not going back there. I hope people play him because he won last year. I'm not going anywhere near Patrick Reed. Some wipes out on the range with him. I don't know what's going on there. Matt Kuchar, going to be the chalk of the week probably. You've got a guy that's this consistent at the Masters with great recent form. I'm not overthinking it. I'm going to plug and play Kuch. Probably end a little bit overweight, but lineups that I don't have Kuch, I'm definitely going to be taking other guys in this range to try to get leverage on people that might have a similar build, if that makes sense. So if a lot of people have Kuch, they might have a similar build in their lineups, just depending on where the pricing falls. So I might try to go more Leishman or Cantlay in spots where I don't have Kuch. And Leishman, I think his approach numbers have been really strong this year. Like if you go back to these stats here, this is 175 to 200. It's going to be a big range this week, I think. Kuch is up there, but Ricky's up there. Brooks is up there. Hideki, Noren, but I'm fading Noren. Rory, Rose, Leishman. Leishman is up there. Tiger's up there too. So that's good stuff. Like you want to see that. And you can use this site, play around with all the stats you want. But yeah, Leishman's up there. So, if that's a stat you think is important, which I do like Leishman. He finished 9th here last year. Always prone to show up big, always prone to just kind of fade away. His game's not in the best place, but he's still doing all right for himself. So I like what Big Daddy Leach can do this week. Good Kuchar leverage in my opinion, but not a guy I'm prioritizing like I am with Kuch. Sergio I love this week. People might see that miscut last year and fade him, but he just had one terrible hole. I think he would have been actually better than fine if not for that one hole. But kind of trending up at Augusta to that win. Been really strong ball striking this year. I'm not going to overthink it. Sergio's going to be in a ton of my lineups. Cantlay is a guy that people might fade because his only recent showing here was a miscut. Did miss the cut at the Players. Didn't come out of the group stage at match play. Before that, though, 6th in Mexico, 15th at Genesis. But Genesis is a home game for him, so I'm not going to buy into that too much. Overall, really steady golfer. Most of his strongest results came in weaker fields. So I'm going to have less Cantlay than I do Leishman, I think. But Cantlay is a guy that I think is, going to be overlooked. But he's also DFS darling, so I think people will play him. If that's the case, I might just avoid Cantlay for the most part. I like Henrik Stenson a lot more. 3 of the last 4 weeks, top 25, kind of back in that Henrik Stenson model of consistency. Miscut at the Players, match play got through the group and was like scalding hot. So I like Stenson a lot this week. Stenson, Sergio, Kuch is a popular combo for me. Kind of instead of picking and choosing those guys, just jam them all in. On Yahoo, he's blatantly underpriced. So is Sergio. So is Hideki. So is Spieth. Like if you want Spieth shares, man, go to Yahoo because you can just plug him in with Sergio and Hideki, and you got a lot of safety. Adam Scott's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. But back to DraftKings pricing. I love Stenson. Poulter is a guy I'm probably just not going to have much of at all with Stenson right there. Poulter has not been as good of form just recently. Augusta's kind of died down for him over the past 3 years as he's shortened up a little bit. So I'll be off Poulter. I'll also be off Woodland. The form here is just so bad at the Masters, and it doesn't really make too much sense. But I'm gonna be off of him. It's mostly a driving game for Woodland, I think, and the approach game is a little secondary. So I'm gonna be mostly off of Woodland at a course that kind of punishes you if you don't hit greens. RCB is going to be a fade for me, but I do understand why you would want some. He's a great birdie maker, done well here 2 of the last 3 years. I'm personally just not landing on 7,500 much. I'll just go to Stenson. Thank you. Cam Smith, a guy I'm just not on. Ever since a miscut at the Honda, just been pretty poor, so I'm going to be off of Cam. Hope people play him because of the 5th place last year. Webb, a guy I'm off, just does not fit this course. Hasn't been really great this year. He's been solid, but not great. And, coming to a course that definitely doesn't fit him, I think I can cross Webb off. Fitzy's done all right recently and at Augusta, so I think he's worth some shots if you're looking for a low-owned guy that has some potential and has done well here before. Fitzy also with a 2nd place this year, so that is kind of one of those Masters trends you want to look at. So I do like Matthew Fitzpatrick. Almost said Ryan Fitzpatrick. Brant Snedeker, a guy I like, knows how to play Augusta very well. Wily veteran. I am worried that his form is not ideal coming into a tournament like this, so I'm not actually going to have as much of him as I thought I was going to before I looked at pricing. If you're over on Yahoo and you want to value play that isn't super chalk, you would probably look to Snedeker or Fitz. Haotong Lee is going to be a fade for me. Matt Wallace, I think you want some shares of because he's just shown that he can do it, and that he's not scared. If you want a first timer to win the Masters, you're going to want a guy that's had wins before worldwide, that knows how to close the door, that's shown up and showed that he can play on the PGA Tour before. He's not like Noren, who's just been bad on the PGA Tour overall in his career. Matt Wallace came over recently and he's just killing it. So I do like Wallace quite a bit. I like Charles Howell even more. I really don't know if people are going to play Charles Howell, but the guy has resurgenced. I don't know what the proper term is there. But he's been really, really strong this year. His approach game has been money. His off the tee game has been pretty money. His around the green game has been a little suspect, but his putting has also been solid. And he's a native of Augusta, Georgia. So I like Charles Howell a lot here. Has not played this event in a long time. And when he last did, he finished 19th. So if you're telling me a guy that has this kind of recent form and, has hometown connections, is going to be loving this, hometown game for him. 18th or 19th last time he played it, even though it was a long time ago. I'm going to have a lot of him, and I don't think he's going to be super popular just because he hasn't had that recent Augusta history, and he hasn't been winning a tournament recently like Kisner did. So I like Charles Howell a lot as kind of some low price leverage off of who I think is going to be really popular. Hoffman, was a guy that I was debating weeks ago. Oh man, Charlie Hoffman, really bad form this year. Coming into the Masters, he's usually doing really well. And then what do you know? He pops up the last 2 tournaments he's played and done really well. And I looked at the stats. Hoffman was fire tee to green and putting. Mostly tee to green though. At the Valero Texas Open, a course that he has admittedly done well at in the past, but so is Augusta, and I really like Charlie this week as a value play. Like Charlie a little more than Kevin Kisner. When I have that extra $100, I think I'm going to spend it. I like Hoffman a little bit more than Howell just because of the recent Augusta form, but I like them both a lot. So JB, boom bust. I think he's going to bust. I'm not going to be playing him. Keith Mitchell, another boom bust type of guy in my opinion. First timer here, very easily missed the cut. Takes him a little while to get used to these kind of things. But also he does have a game that fits Augusta pretty well. I am worried that he was riding a hot putter for 2 weeks and Sure, he was really good tee to green those weeks too, but not, the greatest putter of the ball. He is unbent though, so I do like that. But personally, I think he's like a large field GPP play. Nothing really more than that. For me, I just don't want to take on that added risk of Mitchell over guys like Hoffman and Kisner that I think are in better form. Kisner's been really solid lately. A lot of top 28s, top 30s, and then a win at the match play. But if Kisner does what he's been doing recently and finishes 28th, I'm not going to be mad here. You're going to definitely want a value play with more upside in some spots, but you're not going to get killed by it. And Kiz, not all these courses fit Kiz either. If we look back at the history here, like the Waste Management, not really a Kevin Kisner bomber course, 26th. 24th, 22nd, 23rd in 3 weeks in a row. Those are more sorted Kiz courses. 27th in Mexico, that's not really a Kevin Kisner course. So I'm not too worried about Kiz this week. I understand why you would fade him based on course fit, but I'm not going to be doing that. I think the form is the form. Siwoo, God, what do you do with this guy? I don't know what you do with Siwoo. But Hoffman, Howell, and Kisner on FanDuel are all around the same price. So you can kind of mix and match them as you can on DraftKings. Yahoo, though, Hoffman, man, $20, flat min. Going to be really hard not to play him there. I mean, I just don't see him missing the cut at the least. And when you can get a guy for min price, that's all you really want. And I think he's got the most upside, clearly, of the min price guys. So, I mean, if you start a lineup with Hoffman and Stenson, you're getting two guys that I think have legit top 15 potential for less than $30 each. So, that's definitely where I'm going. Hoffman, Stenson, Hideki, Sergio. And you can still round it out with two superstars. That's insane. So that's what I'm doing over there. FanDuel more like 111, like one guy Ricky or above for me, and then some Bubba, some Casey, some Hideki, maybe mixed and matched, maybe one of those guys only, and then Kuchar, Sergio, Stenson in that 10 to 9.6 range, and then Hoffman, Howe, Kisner in that mid 8K range, not getting too cute. Same deal on DraftKings, but the combos are a little different just based on the pricing. Eddie Pep, Jimmy Walker, Kevin Na, just guys I'm not going to be playing. I'd put them on here, but Jimmy Walker with the Augusta history, maybe you do that if you have 6,600 left. The other guy at 6,600 that's interesting just as a probable made cut is Grillo. Don't love him though, just kind of not been there recently. Chalk or Port guys I think are going to be really popular. Kuchar, Ricky, Sergio, Kisner I think are going to be really popular. Tommy, Rory, Casey, Hoffman. Now, this doesn't mean that the guys that I've said that I like that are on this list that I think are going to be really popular, doesn't mean that I'm necessarily going to be with the field on them. I might be above the field on some of these guys. I might just take hard stands on Ricky and Rom over JT, and then just have more of them than the field. I might have more or less Kisner than the field. I might have more or less Hoffman than the field, just based on where I'm going with CH3 in a bunch of lineups. I'll definitely have more CH3 than the field. That's for damn sure. But guys like Stenson and Sergio do have Cantlay and Leishman right there. So I think if people think of them as fades because of the other options, maybe they won't come in as chalky as I think. So that's about all I got for you this week. Best of luck to you. If you've got any questions, you know where to find me on Twitter at mandrews93dfs. But yeah, best of luck. Hope to see you guys at the top of the leaderboards.